My name is Byron, I am a miniature painter, and I'm going to be passing judgment constructively, I should add, on our viewers' miniatures. So a load of subscribers have sent in their stuff, and I'm going to be providing my feedback on, my initial reactions, what I think of it, how cool it is, and also how I would go about improving it. If you would like yours to be submitted, then it is submit@artis-opus.com. We'll pop that down here. There'll also be a link in the description. And if you've got any thoughts or opinions, or you agree with me or strongly disagree, whatever, pop them below. We do read each and every one. Or if you have a suggestion for a future format of video, we do take them all on board. So that is it. Let's jump in. I haven't seen any of these. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go. All right, first one. Michael from Dallas in Texas. Nice colors, good basing. That funky blue sand actually really works quite nicely, I think, with a miniature. You've got the blue echoed in the base of the miniature, and then also on the miniature on the gems and the details on the guy's lapel. That's pretty cool. Michael started painting about a year ago, and this is his most recent model. I'm currently trying to learn wet blending and how to glaze well. Dude, you are en route. I don't have too much to add about this. The wash on the purple, you've got something going on there where you've, it looks like, could be wrong here, but it looks like you've base coated it with a pastelish purple, then you've washed it, and that has really added some depth and some saturation to the purple. And then you've highlighted it with the same purple again, or you've highlighted it with a purple that's just a bit less colorful. And therefore I would say that you're, maybe you needed to do one highlight before the final highlight that you've got there, just to help that transition, because there's quite a big difference between the two. Otherwise though, that black is great. Really good, very disciplined. You've not gone to blue or anything, which I would often do with black, and it really works nicely. Good concepts. Yeah, it's great. I really like it. The basing actually does work as well, which I'm surprised about. So yeah, great job. Eddie Mullins, Virginia, US. Had issues with the blending on the skin, so used a wash to blend it, but I lost a ton of contrast. That can happen, absolutely. Also, when you've got something that's got such, it's quite a cool model, this one, when you've got such large amounts of flesh everywhere, it can be really difficult. One of the things that I like is to mix a sepia and a red wash, little hint of red, not too much, dilute it a fair bit, and then you can push that into the recesses of the skin. So where that guy's got his delts on his shoulders or his pecs, those creases and striations in the muscle, you could just push with your brush, like push towards the recesses, end in the recess where you want your color to be the darkest, and that can help the contrast. Good though, really like it overall. The eyes, the glow, one thing that it's hard on miniatures, I already spoke about exaggerating stuff, but if something's got really pronounced eye sockets, the glow would not make its way around the back of that. So maybe I would rein in the glow a little bit more, just keep it to the bottom rims and the top rim on the inside, not on the outside of the socket where it wouldn't be able to reach. Just think about if you were shining a light from that eyeball, would that section be in shadow, or would it be lit up? And if it's lit up, that's a good place to take your OSL to. Nice though, good flesh. I wouldn't worry about it too much, dude. A lot of people have issues with that, and I like the textured highlighting that you've done on the robes as well. Tyler from the UK, Cataphracti Terminator, Brother Lucius. So I think that the flatness, how flat his base coat is on that green, could definitely do a lot for the model. And then also going to a slightly lighter color around the edges. Flatter base coat, two thin coats, it's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. A edge, if you're unsure about edging, I'll grab a pen to demonstrate, and a wallet, of course. So to exaggerate massively, rather than trying to follow down an edge like this, where you end up often like wobbly on either side, I still can't do this very well at all, even after years. Get the side of your brush, use, if this here is the body of the brush, you want to be using the middle of it, and then run it sideways along your edge. You'll get a super crisp, beautiful edge highlight, and that will do a load for the overall appeal of the model. The weathering you've got, like that kind of purple wash at the back of the front of his flamethrower nozzles, that looks really good. I would take some verdigris and put it on the bronzy section too. Just a little bit of a turquoise wash, that would look awesome. But solid. Get him on a base and send him back. Okay, wow, that is a big one. This is from Adam in Southampton in the UK. Love your channel and couldn't resist taking part. Here's a couple of pics from my corn project. Thing is, I find it really hard to think of corn that's not red, but would like to do more interesting color to paint more juggernauts and how to get depth of color on their flat surfaces, smoother too. Never been too good at that. Okay, great questions. Red is quite a difficult color to work with for a lot of reasons. A lot of people end up pushing it to black in the recesses, and that allows you to jump up to a purer red in the highlights rather than pushing through to orange. Nothing wrong with pushing through to orange, but if you want to keep it pure, it's quite a difficult one. What I would absolutely recommend here, dude, because these are really solid, Adam, you should be proud. Nice bold highlighting, stuff like that. For me, it would be all about pushing some stuff into the recesses. You could also mix up a glaze of like Flesh Tearers red, the contrast, or the other red contrast. Dilute it a fair bit and put it over the entire thing, and that will deepen the red. You have to be very careful though not to go too hardcore. So, you know, it's an option if you would like it. But where I would be adding depth is just by pushing into the recesses. You already seem to be a very controlled, neat painter, so I don't think you'll have any issues with that whatsoever. And you would use exactly the same concept on the large stuff as you would do on the small stuff. The other thing you can do is if you highlight some little scratches or imperfections in the model, that will break it up and that will stop it from looking flat as well. But great, very well worded questions and lovely minis. Domingos Sasbo, sorry if I've butchered any names here, by the way. Long time fan of your channel, thank you very much. Submit what I think is my best mini so far. We've got this cool little turtle mage dude. Nice depth on the shell as well. Painted right after a rough episode. A lot of sweat and actual tears put in this fellow. Looking for criticism. Well, we appreciate you as a viewer. Thank you so much, dude. So, opinions on this guy. Let's get in close. This is a hard miniature to paint well, number one. I can tell just by looking at it, the way that the detail is, the way that the string or twine is about his weapon, and the level of detail on the face, that is not super script and super crisp. Definitely no script here. We'd sound more professional otherwise. So that's definitely not super crisp detail, and that's going to make it harder for you to do a better job. Number one, like, it's a cool miniature, it's got personality, but you can only paint up to the level that the miniature can help you with, unless you're some like super pro out there, in which case you can invent some awesome stuff that wasn't there on a model. If though you are an intermediate painter, then you need a good miniature to start with. So this miniature isn't helping. That's my first opinion. My second, the greens and stuff are nice. That natural basing material, I would use it more sparingly and mix it with other stuff. And then his shell, the one consistent thing that I can say that's evident from the shell is you got some nice differences in color there, but the base coat wasn't too flat, I don't believe. Or something is showing up a lack of consistency there. So a few more thin coats in the base coat and then just work from there. It is icing on the cake after you've got a nice clean flat base coat. So concentrate on that first, block your sections in, and then there's a couple of little other things you could do, like that string, which is hard to highlight. Just drop a wash in the center of it and that'll help separate the pieces without you having to paint them perfectly themselves. But really, it's a very cool mini. It's just not particularly, you know, like high-end casting. I think it's probably like a floppy rubbery plastic by the looks of it. Whoa, that's a scary model. John from Toronto in Canada. Did the skin with dry brushing techniques learned from you. Thanks for your great lessons. You're most welcome, dude. He's looking solid. He's disgusting. I love his kind of like ridged tentacle things front and center at the bottom. They're really good. I would be washing some more stuff into the recesses of this. Very solid though. The colors have ended up quite muted. You can often get that from mixing between them. I don't know if that's your idea for the piece or if it's just something that's happened as a result of dry brushing. I often jump to a clean new brush at the end, or a cleaned brush, even if it's not a new one, to really punch in the final details. So that could be an option for you. But really solid, nice use of, like, you've highlighted a little bit more on the face than elsewhere, so that's drawing attention. I would use some saturated wash colors, dilute them, but saturated wash colors nonetheless, and I'd push them into into the recesses and the interesting parts, just to get a little bit more of attention on them. Love the yellow tone though on his claws. I think that model is pretty solid. Oh, these are crisp. Julian Sobello from Australia. These are lovely orcs. No text to go with them. The rims are beautifully clean and black. Good job. They are crisp. They're really, really, really nice. What can I add about these? I'm going to nitpick here because your painting's extremely solid, so I don't wish to appear overly fussy, but like, you've washed verdigris on the bronze sections, the skin is really solid. I like the tone you've gone for with the metal, so I'm going to now nitpick. And what I would do is I would add some more scratches to this. You know, they're orcs, they're rough, they're burly, they do not spend a lot of time maintaining their equipment. They are not, you know, fancy space marines. dotting rivets, like on the middle guy's helmet, to increase the contrast between the rivet and the rest of it, with a wash around the edges, and then dotting the actual rivet with a little bit of a highlight. That might be a good one. And then the leather and the steel sections, dilute your paint really carefully, use a fine brush, test it elsewhere. You'll have seen me testing on my thumb in our recent white scars video, and use that to scratch up this metal, because that's the only thing that stands out to me. But overall, like, great use of depth, really clean basing. I think that army, if it is from an army, looks fantastic. And if it's just, you know, 5 dudes, they look brilliant anyway. You should be proud of them. Whoa, nice. Okay, this is extremely crisp. Wonderful rim. I love it. Okay, been doing the hobby for almost 3 years. Good job, dude. Here are some pictures of my most recent project. I have the impression that I am stagnating. Happens to all of us, mate. Don't worry about it. Can you please help me improve and give me some tips or techniques to discover? I love the content of your YouTube channel, and your podcast is so sweet. Oh, thank you, Facehammer listener. Keep up the good work. You're most welcome. Well, this is really good. I love it, it's fantastic. So again, on the nitpicking, but I can help you with your plateau, I think. So we're going to talk about depth in recesses, no surprises there, and also increasing contrast and making your scratches more obvious on the weapons. And then I've got some thoughts on the base too, which I can definitely help with. The metal, let's look at the guy's scythe. Big, huge scythe, it's all pitted. I would like those pits to be more obvious. Now, you could wash purple into them. You've got purple elsewhere on the miniature. It's a great opportunity to take colors you've got, you know, dotted around on his robes and his details and stuff like that, and make them evident up here on the model too. I like balanced miniatures in terms of putting color everywhere, so that would be a really good idea. The haft on that weapon is outstanding, mate. You should be so proud of that. And your scratches are very small and neat. I would struggle to do that, or I would have been driven insane before the mini was finished. Really nice color. So a purple wash in the recesses on that weapon, and then the scratches on the weapon, I would just make a little bit brighter, make them more obvious. I really like how subtle they are, but a few more, you know, you can get depth in scratches. They don't all have to be the same subtlety or not. You can have ones that are more recent, ones that are older, and particularly with them being Nurgle, that's something that I would push. You could also push into the pitted parts of his armor with the same purple. It helped tie things together, would look nice. That base is executed to a very good level of dry brushing. You could add some depth in there with the same purple. So you could tie all of this together right in the recess so that you could put the same purple. And I would absolutely, you know, like a skull or a couple of tufts would really make a difference on the base, I think. But yeah, he's really, really excellent. You should be super proud. All right, this is nice too. Roast away, and thanks, excellent channel from Neil. Right, we've got some Wolverine people and a zombie and a dog. That is an interesting collection of miniatures. All right, so this looks like this miniature has been started from black, and I used to really struggle with this, and I still really struggle with this. It looks like, particularly, you know, like the pelt on the guy's back, I'll concentrate on him for now. You could have just started that one shade lighter, and if you need it to be darker, you can wash it down, but it's quite hard to add lightness if your base coat was black and you haven't, you know, then put a mid-tone over that as your undercoat was black and you haven't put a mid-tone as your base coat. So bringing that up a little bit would give you more, more ways to separate the different parts of the model, so his pelt wouldn't blend into the recess of his muscles in the same way, and it'd just help keep things crisp. The beige pants, really, really nice. Basing pretty solid as well. As for the zombies and stuff, there's not as much mid-tone here as there could be, so it goes from like really cool purple recesses. I would make them just slightly more transparent, you know, maybe glaze over stuff rather than painting it, so use like a purple wash. It goes straight from that very deep purpley color to like a pastel white without too much of a transition, so maybe some selective washing in the non-purple sections, but still the recesses of the model could increase the depth. Solid though, like really, really crisp looking. That mid-tone thing will make a difference, absolutely, in helping distinguish the different parts of the model. Great work on the rope and stuff like that though, and it doesn't look like it's a crazily crisp model, so you've probably had to work quite hard for that. Next, on the subject of crisp, Adeptus Sororitas, look at those bases. You hero. Don't know how to paint the relics on St. Catherine. On the Triumph of St. Catherine, well, I know nothing about 40k, so I'm gonna, the banner on the Argent Shroud. Okay then, I'm gonna concentrate, I don't know what any of these terms mean whatsoever, but I'm gonna concentrate on the banner because it says the word banner and I know what a banner is. So you could just take that banner a little bit brighter, dude. by the looks of things. It's got really lovely detail on it. You've done a good job. But so let's say you base coat it, you wash it. Your first coat, your mid-tone, cover more of the model with the first coat, and then that, you know, that will brighten it as a whole. And you can still take it up to really bright highlight on the very edges, but starting that a bit brighter allows you to both push into the recesses if you want to push those more, and brightens up the thing as a whole, so it gives you a load of scope. Basing is sweet though. Thank you so much for submitting your stuff. I realize it can be a bit scary, but hopefully my feedback has been constructive. I always like seeing stuff that inspires me to try out other things, or, you know, my tutorials being applied to other people's work is incredibly rewarding for me as well. I'm always happy to provide feedback. Guys, if you're submitting something and that you just want to make sure that I comment on how to improve your robes or something like that, feel free to add whatever text or context along with what you're doing. Let me know what paints you're using, what size brushes, anything like that. I'll lap it up and it'll just help me give you better quality information. That is it. So if you want to submit your own miniatures, it is submit@artis-opus.com. That'll appear probably here. It will be linked in the description. It will be pinned in a sticky, and I'm sure we'll still receive questions about it because YouTube. So yeah, that's it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on the next one, especially if you're submitting your own miniatures. And I will catch you in the next video.